As a fan of anime, one of the things I appreciate about the medium is its diversity. From shonen action adventure shows, to romantic slice of life, to something only Taylor would like, it is almost guaranteed there will be at least one anime that one can enjoy. Being that I am the smartest man alive, I generally gravitate towards anime that respects the intelligence of its viewers, shows that aren't afraid to ask the big questions, and boldly leave much of what is conveyed open to interpretation. Some prime examples of anime like this include Death Note, Angel's Egg, Serial Experiments Lain, and its cousins, Ergo Proxy and Technolize, and some of the Ghibli films. However, I believe that there is an anime that stands high above all these so-called intelligent shows. In fact, I'd argue the show in question is so smart that the illogical naysayers of this show would mistakenly call it stupid. That anime being none other than bobobo-bo-bo-bo, bo-bobo-bo. Bo-bobo-bo-bo-bo is really fucking stupid, and that's why I love it. I think it's an anime that deserves way more credit than it is given, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. Hi everyone, welcome to Jump Report. I'm your host Noah, and today we're looking at a personal favorite anime of mine, Bo-bobo-bo-bo, and why it deserves its flowers. Bo-bobo-bo-bo-bo-bo-bo is a comedy anime that heavily dabbles into the realm of surreal and parodical humor. If you've seen Gintama or Cromartie High School, then it is likely you've either heard of Bo-bobo-bo-bo or would appreciate the show's sense of humor.
Oh, that's my cue. Introducing Geha the Gale, commander of C-Block.
Get those Japanese words off of me.
The story of Bo-bobo-bo-bo, while confusing and nonsensical at times, really isn't that hard to understand, and to be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand Bo-bobo-bo-bo. The humor is extremely subtle. Bo-bobo-bo-bo takes place in the distant future of 300X. The world has been taken over by the evil Maruhage Empire, who look to enforce conformity over those they rule. They do this through a so-called hare hunt, where the Empire's soldiers invade villages and shave the heads of all the villagers before leaving the village ransacked. However, there is one hero that is willing to bravely stand against the Maruhage Empire, that being the titular character Bobobo-bo-bo, bo-bobo, who also just goes by Bobobo. Bobobo is a master in Hanage Shinken, aka Fist of the Nose Hair. His mastery over this devastating martial art allows him to freely control his nose hairs and use them as whips. Although the series is named after Bobobo, the anime isn't entirely shown through his perspective, but rather the side character Beauty. Beauty is a regular teenage girl who Bobobo saved along with her friend Pickles, who both decide to tag along with Bobobo on his adventures. However, Pickles is rejected. So only Beauty is allowed to go. Beauty acts as the comedic straight man of the pair. While she admires Bobobo, she usually is the first to highlight the absurdity of Bobobo's actions and comments. Over the course of their adventure, they also meet Don Patch, whose design is basically AliExpress Sonic. Don Patch fights with a skill known as Hajike in order to confuse and stifle his opponents. Don Patch is extremely narcissistic and hates the fact that Beauty is the main heroine of the show, wishing that role belonged to him instead. Along with Beauty, Don Patch's other main rival is the former 42nd President of the United States, Bill Clinton. No, I'm not making that shit up. The three act as the main trio until eventually more characters get added to Bobobo's party. My favorite being Hippokamaru, who looks like Killua, but unlike Killua, he does not shoot lightning out of his hands, but instead farts out his asshole. His ability revolves around the art known as the True Fist of Farts, or in the English dub, Fist of the Back Wind. No, I'm not making that shit up. Hippokamaru, also known as Gasser in the English dub, is generally in the middle of the absurdity spectrum. He can be just as normal as Beauty, but at the same time join in on the absurdity Bobobo and co create. A lot of the characters of Bobobo's party are in some way a parody of common tropes we see in anime and manga, and while I'm not going to sit down and highlight every single one, it is guaranteed you will pick up on them along the way. It's a shame Bobobo was not adapted in this day and age. Although I think it would still have a pretty niche audience, I think the bizarreness of its humor lines up pretty well with a lot of the humor we see on the internet today. I would have a meme here at this spot in the video as an example, but considering how quickly the internet moves and how poorly things can age, I'll leave this portion empty. So if you haven't heard of bo-bobo but are interested in it, read the manga or watch the anime. Bo-bobo shares the same voice actor as Dio, so that's pretty cool. However, space out your viewing sessions of the show. Its lunacy and free-flow stream of consciousness narrative can be taxing if you watch too much of it. I hope that by sharing my love for bo-bobo, I can bring more light onto this show, since I personally think that this is a show that came out at the wrong time and would have been better suited for the current day humor meta. Unfortunately, the show was cancelled before it finished adapting the entirety of the manga. Who knows, if this video does well enough, we might get enough people watching bo-bobo to get an HD 1.5 remix remaster that we deserve. Or probably not.